Ask you this. At least 30 people died in ICE custody in 2025. Is that a big number or a small number? Of itself,
I don't believe it's a big, I don't think it's a big number.
Okay.
Absolutely not. And let me make sure that I clarify, since the former ICE director seems not to have some basic information that he should have. 3 times the amount of people died in detention than they did in 2024. In 2024, it was 11. 30 people died in detention. 170 U.S. citizens have been detained, United States citizens, under this administration while they're doing ICE enforcement. And shots do matter. It shows that he was going for the kill.
They told you she was using her car as a weapon. They told you it was self-defense. But when a former ICE director tried to spin that narrative on live TV, he ran into a progressive congresswoman who brought the one thing MAGA fears most, the receipts. If you believe in holding power accountable, show your support by hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Now, let's watch this takedown together, then I will give you my 2 cents at the end.
I have no idea if she was frightened at the wheel. I do know, based on everything I've seen, this officer acted in self-defense and defense of others, and he was doing so as he was trained. Any law enforcement officer is trained that a vehicle is a weapon and is a deadly weapon. And at the point when she was told to get out of her car, she was given a lawful order. She defied that order and decided to flee instead. And if you look at the video that you show there, I mean, it's not an inaccurate video, but it's an incomplete video. There are other videos that show the other angle where she's actually driving towards the officer and actually, I think, hits his knee. And the bullet holes went through the front windshield. Again, what does that indicate? She's driving towards the officer. And this idea about whether there are 4 shots or 3 shots, it doesn't matter. If a law officer is defending their life or the lives of others, their job is to take out the threat. Whether or not it's 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots, or 4 shots, is totally immaterial.
Right.
But this officer acted appropriately. And, you know, it's a shame that the rhetoric from this congresswoman is so out there. She's putting more people in danger, not just ICE agents, but also members of the community.
Well, she can speak for herself, and I will ask questions of her. But let me ask you this. At least 30 people died in ICE custody in 2025. Is that a big number or a small number?
I would have to look at the number compared to other years, you know, but there are people who are in custody. People die in custody every day, whether or not it's local jails, prisons, or whatever.
So
and people in ICE custody are probably.
It's not of itself a big.
I don't believe it's a big. I don't think it's a big number in and of itself. When you're looking at a large population of people, this idea that everyone, you know, the people are going to have the same health problems they have in real life. Right. And that's, I don't think this number is anything unusual, and certainly better than a typical number in a prison or a jail.
Congresswoman, back to you. If I can ask you, when you think that the president was elected to tackle immigration and the figure at the southern border is the lowest in half a century, do you think that action on immigration remains popular with the American voters who put him into the White House?
Absolutely not. And let me make sure that I clarify, since the former ICE director seems not to have some basic information that he should have. 3 times the amount of people died in detention than they did in 2024. In 2024, it was 11. 30 people died in detention. 170 U.S. citizens have been detained, United States citizens, under this administration while they're doing ICE enforcement. And shots do matter. It shows that he was going for the kill. That's exactly what this agent was doing. And we need to actually ask ourselves, what kind of policy change needs to happen so that ICE does not think that they can go rogue and do the kind of things that local law enforcement would never do. For example, there is no excessive force policy within ICE right now. No policy whatsoever. But the agency has been operating for over 10 years. We need to change that.
Finally, let me go back to you, Mr. Fahey. You ran this organization. Surely in a polarized America, we can see it on our screen tonight, 2 sides that are not coming together. An independent investigation would be the way, but the investigation changed midway through the day. The Minnesota authorities were ruled out by the FBI. Do you accept that's a bad look, even if you don't think it's a bad decision?
It's a good decision. The Minnesota people like, you know, Governor Walz and other people are looking for reasons to call it an illegitimate investigation. Remember, Governor Walz has accuse these ICE agents of being Nazis. He says he's at war with the federal government. This idea that he could then cooperate on an investigation doesn't make any sense. Also, it's totally unnecessary. And just one more thing back to what the Congresswoman said. The reason more people died in ICE custody in 2025 than 2024 during the Biden administration wasn't detaining or deporting anyone, so they had far less people in jail. And if the Congresswoman wants open borders and mass amnesty, which I know she does, why doesn't she put a bill on the floor of the House and ask for that? But this idea that you can't, you're asking ICE not to enforce the laws of Congress, it's astonishing that a Congresswoman would have that view.
Well, she can give us her view herself. How would you respond to that, Congresswoman?
Look, I think this ICE director, he's spewing the same rhetoric that the president, the vice president, and the secretary of Homeland Security continue to spew. Let's be very, very clear. They are operating lawlessness. They're unwilling to actually have an independent investigation, which I think is an absolute great idea, because you can argue about the governor. We can also argue that it's going to be biased as long as it's going to be Kash Patel and ICE who's actually investigating what happened. And the point blank reality is that the American people right now are protesting around the country and are living in fear and wonder. Am I next? Will ICE kill me next? Because they get to wear a mask, they get to go rogue and be lawless, and then they get away with it and justify and reward it.
Thank you both. A time of high emotion, and we've tried to get your thoughts from your different perspectives into a short time. Thank you both for joining us. I will be talking more about this on...
Fahey tried to lie because he thought no one was checking the math. He was wrong. This is why we need actual oversight, not just rubber stamps for law enforcement. What do you think? Should an ICE director who doesn't know how many people died under his watch be giving expert analysis? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the like and subscribe buttons, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.